Very professional. Alrighty, Chris, welcome to the team. My name is Adam Gonzalez. For everyone that's new, I'm one of your regional vice presidents here. Your other regional vice president is Aurelie Monroy, right? And please make sure every person on this Zoom training must have their camera on. We will be engaging with you guys and interacting. This team training has to have cameras on, okay? So a new face I see is Denise. Denise, welcome to the team. I believe this is the first time I actually see your face. How
Yes.
you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you.
Amazing. I hope you learn a lot today, Denise. Just be a sponge today. This is going to be a lot of new information, okay? And I also see Dory. I have spoken with you, but welcome to the team once again. I hope you're having an amazing day so far, okay?
Hi, Adam. Thank you. I'm getting to a position where I can turn my camera on. Give me a few minutes.
No worries, no worries. Alrighty, guys. So those are 3 new individuals on our team training today. For all our veterans that's been here, I'm glad you guys are able to be here today. Now, on our team trainings that we have every Monday evening, we go over a couple things. Okay, we go over a couple things. And actually, we're having a new person on that just came on too. So I will introduce him. Now, I was just introducing all our new team members, and we had somebody else just come on right now. His name is Alex Corona. Hi, Alex. How you doing today?
Good, and yourself, Adam?
I'm doing amazing, brother. I'm doing amazing. Welcome to our team training. We're about to begin. So your goal is to be a sponge today, okay? Have a notebook right in front of you. We're going to be going over how to close. Now, on our team training, we go over 7 fundamentals every Monday evening, okay? So let me share this document with you guys. So on this page, you're going to see that there's 7 fundamentals in order for you to be successful in this business. Number 1 is going to be prospecting, okay? So prospecting is where you're communicating with individuals, whether it's in person or using social media platforms to get numbers, right? Your goal is to get a number, call them, and book an appointment on Zoom. Right? So that's a prospect, and that can be in person or through social media. The second fundamental is, okay, are we going to be professional number collectors and not call them? Or are we going to book an appointment as well? So the second fundamental is setting an appointment. The third one is presenting. Fourth is overcoming objections. What are the most common questions and concerns clients will have for our products? 5 products, the life insurance, the investments, and mortgages. We'll learn all about it. Number 6 is recruiting, right? Number 7 is closing. These are going to be your 7 fundamentals in order for you to be successful in this business. So there's never going to be a time where you're going to tell yourself, man, there's just nothing to do. There's always going to be something to do here, whether you're going to be learning, self-developing, reading a book, or learning these fundamentals, okay? So I'm going to drop this down in the Zoom chat. I would like everyone to please download this file, okay? I want to make sure every single one of you guys has it. So I just dropped it down. Please download it to the device you're on, because you're going to be using this for your guys' Primerica business, okay? So I just dropped it down. I'm also going to drop down another one. I'm going to drop down our presentation if you don't have that yet. So here you go. Presentation. I'm also going to be dropping down a PDF on a script of how to close. So I'm going to share that as well. And I believe those are going to be the only documents I'm going to provide for you guys today. Is there anything else? No, those are going to be the only ones. Okay, so we're going to be going over those today. Alrighty, so how do we close? I think the tough part that a lot of people have is learning how to transition out of this presentation. Every single one of you guys has received this presentation, whether it was from myself, my mother, my brother, or your upline, whoever brought you in. This presentation is pretty simple. It's just trying to give our clients a good understanding of who Primerica is. It gives a little introduction of who we are. We buy, term, and invest the difference. You guys all seen this before. But how do we transition from this presentation to giving a quote and eventually going to the application? That's where a lot of people have a tough time. So what I'm going to do is one of the PDFs that I sent you guys, I would highly suggest you guys to always have this on your screen while you're presenting. Here's what I mean. Well, if you notice, I have two screens popped up. Let me remove a couple of them, okay? One screen is going to be the presentation where you see cash value, plan A, plan B. And then I also have a script on my screen that's going to be on the right-hand side, okay? On this script is going to be your lifesaver. Instead of you trying to figure out what you guys are going to say to transition, we gave you the blueprint. So let's do this. I'm going to do a quick example of how to transition from this presentation and going over into the slide. And then I'm going to open up for questions very briefly, and we're going to continue going on. So I'm going to do this quick slide. So, alrighty, Mr. Client, here's plan A and plan B. In plan A, they're going to keep all your money for at least the first year. You're going to get a 1 to 4% return on your money. They're going to charge you 6 to 8% to borrow out of your own money. They may withhold your loan request for up to 6 months, and then they keep all your savings so you happen to pass away. Or plan B, your money's accredited to you immediately. You get a 7 to 12 potential return on your money. No fee to withdraw your money. You get your money within 7 days by law, and your family keeps both the life insurance and the investment. I don't know, why in plan B do you keep both the life insurance and the investment? Well, we make sure that these are in separate entities. They're not attached together to have that small fine print. So, Mr. Client, if you had to choose a plan between plan A or plan B, which one would you choose? 99% of the time, they say plan B. Okay, Mr. Client. So, Mr. Client, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send you a compound interest calculator. What this is going to do is it's going to give you a rough estimate of what your money's going to look like. Did you see that? I presented this slide, and I transitioned into giving a compound interest calculator. Now, okay, how does this compound interest calculator work, and how do we send it to the client? Well, let me show you on my phone real quick. Let me sign in, and we'll go from there. Any questions so far? Okay. Let me bring it up real quick. So we got here, sign in. I'm going to share my screen on my phone. 266 819 72. All right. So here, do this. All right. So I just did the presentation, and now we're transitioning to the compound interest calculator. So let's share my screen here. So, hey, host. There you go. You're able to see my phone screen. Cool. So where do you even find this compound interest calculator? Some of you guys have Androids. Some of you guys have iPhones. What you guys are going to do is you're going to go to your App Store. You're going to go to App Store, go to search, and you're going to type in compound. Okay? Compound interest calculator. Once you do so, there's going to be many different apps. The one we prefer to use is going to be this one, compound interest, this one. The reason why we choose this one, number one, it's free. You guys don't have to pay for it. But it shows your clients visuals
compound interest calculator
of what it looks like. So please download this, take a screenshot of it, whether you have an iPhone, whether you have an Android. This is going to be very helpful. Okay. So once you download this, we want to open it up. And this is basically what it's going to look like. You're going to see a lot of cool things here. You're going to see top left corner, you see initial amount. That's basically if your client wants to invest a certain amount, you just put it there. Now, whenever we give these compound interest calculators for our clients, under annual return, we put 10%. The reason why we put 10% is because this is the averages our portfolios have been earning since 1970. And I'll show you an example once I log off of my phone real quick. Now, how do we determine the duration? How many years? Okay. Now, we all have to understand this. So if you guys have a notebook, write this down. The most common investment accounts out there is going to be a 401k at your local job. And number two is going to be a Roth IRA. Okay, those are the most common things that you're going to be hearing out in the field. The The thing you need to know about those accounts is that you can pull money out of it without getting penalized after the age of 59 and a half. So that's going to help us come up with our duration. So let's just say we sat down with Chris. Chris, how old are you at the moment, brother?
I'm 21.
You're 21. So can somebody tell me when Chris is going to be turning 6 years old? Who knows that answer? It's 21.
In 39 years?
There you go. So that's going to be Chris's time horizon. So let's put 39 years. That's how long he's going to be investing for. 39 years. And under addition, you're able to put whatever amount that they're going to be setting aside monthly. So if I were to get rid of this and put 0, it puts it to 0. But let's just put $100. What does their investment account look like if you set aside $100 a month? And this is how I'm going to want you to communicate this with your client, because it's one thing taking a screenshot of this and sending it to them, but your clients are going to look at this and be like, what are all these numbers? I'm sure some of you guys are thinking that right now. What are some of these numbers? And it's our goal to help them understand what this means. So if you look at the contribution area, it's going to say over the next 39 years of them investing $100 a month, they're going to be setting aside $46,000. That's their total contributions. But Mr. Client, your total profits is going to accumulate to about $524,000. And that's just by setting aside one $100 bill per month. But we want to send them not just one screenshot, we want to send them 3, because we want them to see the vision. Okay, Mr. Client, what if you're able to be a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more consistent when it comes to your finances? What if you're able to set aside $300 a month? Well, Mr. Client, you've been investing for 39 years. Your total contribution is $140,000, but your total profits is going to accumulate to about $1.5 million. Now, this is where we want them envisioning. Mr. Client, if you had $1.7 million sitting in your investment account right now, what would you do with that money? All of a sudden, you see a big old smile on their face, because they never thought of them being able to have that much money in their bank account. They never even thought that was a possibility. But with your license that you have, that life insurance license, and if you choose to get that investment license as well, you are going to change your clients' lives forever. You really are. Now, finally, what if your client has their act together? They're maxing out their Roth IRA, $580 a month. Now, who knows the maximum you can contribute per year in your Roth IRA for Chris's age, being 21? What's the max you can contribute? Who knows?
Yearly?
I can hear you, Adrian.
Yeah, but is it, like, how much I can contribute yearly, correct?
Yes, sir, yearly.
Oh, $7,000.
$7,000. So write this down on your notebook. In a Roth IRA, the maximum you can invest is $7,000 per year. If your age is 50 and below, $7,000. What that is going to be $580 a month, because there's 12 months in a year. 580 times 12 is $7,000. Okay. So this is going to be the final compound interest calculator we send our clients. So, Mr. Client, and we always want them reading this. You're not going to read this final one. We want them to read it because we want them being interactive. So, Adrian, you're going to be the client. So, Adrian, how much would you be contributing over the next 39 years, and how much profits would you be earning?
Are you tired
I
of
want
being
you
there?
to read this out to me. What does this say?
3,313,691.
Let me pick up this.
And how much would you be contributing?
So you can come out
$580.
and be with your puppy.
Let's take a look at the middle portion under contributions. This is why it's important. Mr. Client, can you please read what it says in contributions, the bigger one?
Because I can put it in this bucket.
The big one even.
Hold on.
You see in the middle of the screen where it says contribution, 271 grand?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I want the client reading out how much they contribute, the total amount, and I want them reading out the total profits. So, Mr. Client, I want you to read this out to me. What does it say under contributions, and what does it say under profits?
My contribution is 271,440. Wow, the profit is 3,042,251.
Now, Adrian, how would you feel if you had $3.3 million in your investment account? How would you feel?
I'd feel amazing, happy right there.
You'd be pretty excited, right? Pretty excited. So this is how you run the compound interest calculator. But I want to do another example. Let's have Denise. If I may ask, how old are you at the moment? Uh-oh.
I'm 46.
Okay, great. So now let's just say we sat down with Denise. We're transitioning to the application. What's the duration we're going to put for Denise? And understanding that she can pull money out of her Roth IRA and 401k, tax penalty free, at age 59 and a half. What would be her duration?
About 13 years.
13 years? Okay, great. 13 years. How did you come up with 13 years?
59 minus 46 is 13.
There you go. Okay, cool. So boom, we do the same thing. Show the 100, show the 300, and show the 580. Oh, actually, yeah, 580. Boom, 300, 580. If you notice, the numbers aren't as large. It's because she has less time for her money to grow. So we have appointments with many clients in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. It's the same information, but the compound interest grows much differently the more time you have. So it's extremely important, okay? So this isn't a guarantee of what your client's going to be earning. It's extremely important. On your notes, this is not a guarantee of what your money is going to be earning, but it's a great estimate based off the numbers, okay? Does anyone have any question or concerns regarding how this compound interest works? Because this is important to learn. This is going to get you a big commitment on closing that life policy. Okay, great. Everything's making sense. I'm glad to hear that.
I have a question.
Evie? Yes.
So the older the individual, what's your cap on years for somebody who's let's say 55 years old? What amount of time would you put for a 55-year-old person?
So I would still put 5 years because that's when they can pull it out. But of course, then that's when you can start asking questions to the client. Okay, Mr. Client, when do you find yourself retiring? Some people say they're not going to retire at age 60. Maybe it's a little older. So you can always adjust the numbers. But here's another good thing that I want you to know. Whenever you guys come across a client that you're going to be replacing a policy, it's important you guys compare the policies. For example, let's just say you had a client with a whole life policy, okay? A whole life. They're paying $50 a month and you want to replace it. But they're age 55 years old. And the life insurance, the life insurance term that we're going to give is just, they say 20 years. It's a 20-year term. What I would suggest you guys to do, if they're 55, but we're going to give them a 20-year term, is show them a compound interest calculator for 20 years. Why would you do that? Well, remember this. We believe in buy term and invest the difference. Life insurance is when your clients have kids, have dependents, haven't paid off their home yet. So if something were to happen to them today, that life insurance proceeds go to the family. But what happens if your client lives a long life? They outlive that policy. That's where we want to make sure that investment is in place so they don't need to rely on that life insurance because their investments are going to grow and going to be much more than the life insurance coverage that they already had with us. Does that make sense? So that's another way of doing it. Okay. So if they're young, just do it by their age all the way to age 60. If they're 55, they're a little older, but the duration for how long their term insurance is that we're going to be providing.
Would you consider, so some of them retire at 60, I believe it's 65, and some at 72. Would you consider just asking them how long do they perceive to, like, maybe leave their monies to invest up until a certain age? They could say 75, they could say 80. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah. There's no definite answer. Those are 3 ways of doing it. When they're young, all the way to 60, doing that. Doing the term, if there's a 20-year term, do it for 20 years. Or if they have an expected retirement age, just do that.
Okay.
So there's 3 different ways of doing it.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, what's the big reason why I put a lot of emphasis on the compound interest calculator? Because once again, it's going to get you a commitment. Because if we look at this script right here, how to close at the end, note that this is after showing the compound interest calculator because we want to provide value to the client. And then now, this is where you guys just become professional readers. All right? You guys don't have to do anything special. You guys just have to read it word for word. Here's what I mean. Your client is not going to be seeing the script. The amazing thing about this business is 99% of our business is done through Zoom. So right now, you see that I have 2 screens popped up. But my client is only going to see this presentation. Do you notice that? My desktop still has those 2 screens, but right now you guys only see that presentation. Okay? So now let's read this. So Mr. Client, I'm going to continue going with Adrian. So Adrian, let's just say you and your spouse, you guys went to the movies right now. Between 2 tickets, popcorn, soda, and candy, you can jump about $80 to $100. Would you agree, Adrian?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't even think about it. So we have different bills in our household, Adrian. We have our mortgage, our car payment, our electrical bill, our gas payment, and our life insurance payment. There's many different types of payments, Adrian. But out of all the payments we pay, which one of these pays for everything if you were to pass away?
The mortgage?
The mortgage. Okay? Now let me ask you, if something were to happen to your spouse, is your mortgage going to give you money to pay for all the bills? Or do you have to continue to pay the mortgage per month?
I have to continue to pay the mortgage per month.
Mm-hmm. So, look, Adrian, the life insurance proceeds is actually going to take care of all the bills and your mortgage. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Like, look, if something were to happen to you, which one of these payments do you think is the most important payment out of all your bills, Adrian?
The life insurance?
The life insurance. Because it pays your electrical bill, it pays your mortgage, it gets rid of your debt, it pays your gas payment, your car payment. Doesn't that make sense? So,
Right.
Adrian, you currently don't have any life insurance right now, correct?
Yeah, not any.
Okay. Now, when we build a house, right, when a house is being built, what's placed first? It's the foundation, correct? Because without it, the house falls apart. Would you agree?
Yep.
So that's the same with life insurance. It would be devastating emotionally and also financially to your family if you didn't have a life insurance. So remember, guys, we already gave a compound interest calculator to Adrian. He already saw the value of that. Now, we need to come up with what's called your financial independence number. Okay? What is your financial independence number? This is going to help us determine how much coverage they really need. So let's explain that real quick. So let's go real quick. A notebook, let's write this down. So we're going to put F-I-N. Stands for Financial Independence Number. Okay. What this is, what we're going to be doing is we're going to take their income for the month or the year. Let's just say in this example, Adrian, you're making what, 80 grand? A little more, a little less?
Sounds about right.
80 grand. So Adrian, what we're going to do is we're going to take your total income that you make for the year. As you mentioned, you make 80 grand per year. We're going to multiply your income by 10. By us doing so, that's going to equal 800,000. So this is how much life insurance coverage you're going to need, Adrian, for you and your family. Now, why do you need 800 grand? I thought I needed more. I thought I needed less. Why 800? Well, if we take this capital, Adrian, this money, and if we invest it into a mutual fund that's been averaging 10%, 10% out of 800 grand goes right back to how much you're making when you were working. Adrian, how would you feel if something were to happen to you? Our company's going to give your spouse and your family a check for 800 grand. They can put that in the market, and they're going to be bringing in 80 grand every single year and not have to worry about finances again. How would you feel?
Gotta feel great.
You feel great, right? And some people will joke around, "Oh, I won't feel nothing. I'm dead." I'm dead, right? So this is how we find the financial independence number. Let's do another example. Let's get rid of this. Let's have somebody unmute themselves. Who wants to participate? Raise your hand real quick. We're going to try to find out financial independence number. Who wants to participate?
Let's do it.
Okay, Francis.
Yeah.
I'm making 60 grand for the year. What's going to be my financial independence number?
Well, Adam, experts say that if we were to times your 60,000 that you make times 10.
Please be careful with the writings, guys.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't writing anything. Was someone writing?
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
I was just gonna let you write.
Yeah. So we got financial independence number 60. Go ahead.
Yep. So Adam, you're making 60,000 a year, correct?
Yes.
Well, experts say if we were to take your 60,000 and times it times 10, you would have 600,000.
Huh?
And that 600,000 would be your financial independence number. Now, that the reason why that 10 is there.
Whoever is writing, please stop writing, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you were to take that 600,000 and take 10% from that 600,000, it would give you the same 60,000 you were making a year.
Okay.
So, yeah, I know I was kind of pausing because of writing.
No worries.
Guys, is someone writing on the... Can you guys have your cameras?
That's okay. We're done with it.
Because either someone's writing something, so please be careful with what you're doing.
So that's how you find the financial independence number. You take their income, multiply by 10. Pretty simple, right? So now after we determine... Alex, please be careful. You're even writing on here too. Let's go here. All right. So that's how you find your financial independence number. Now, this is where we continue going with the script, okay? So, Adrian, if you could put an amount aside that could pay for some life insurance and start a retirement plan, what amount could you put aside that wouldn't jeopardize your budget? Let's just say example, let's do 150 towards the life, 50 for the investment. What would be a comfortable amount for you? Is Adrian here?
What's up?
Go ahead, Adrian.
Oh, no. You called my name?
Yes. So what would be a comfortable amount for you? So I'll do it one more time. So Adrian, if you can put an amount aside that can pay for some life insurance and start a retirement plan, what could you put aside that wouldn't jeopardize your budget? Let's just say example, 150. Alex, please be careful. That's like the fifth time, brother. Please be careful. What amount could you set aside? What would be comfortable for you?
Like 100.
Like 100? Okay, cool. So this is finally where we transition to the quote, right? We did a lot, right? We did a lot. Alrighty, so let's do this real quick.
You can kick him. I'm not
Yeah,
sure if
I kicked
a
him.
friend or a brother grabbed his phone. I saw somebody grab his phone.
Yeah, it's all good. So boom. So this is where we finally transitioned to the quotes. So how do you even access the quotes? Every single one of you guys has POL, okay? Primerica online. Boom. In order for you to sign in, you just put your rep ID and your password. Everyone has their own. So you sign in. Once you sign into this website, in order to have access to quotes to show clients, you're going to go to the very top. You're going to click Primerica app. Once you click Primerica app, this new window pops up. What you guys are going to do is you're going to go to the top left corner, click these 3 tabs, scroll down to where it says Tools. I know sometimes it can be hidden. Okay, so we go to Tools, go to Quick Quote 3.0. And this is finally where we're able to provide quotes. So now, remember, we got a commitment from Adrian. He feels comfortable with $100 a month. Okay, so Adrian, we always want to make sure when we start this, you notice there's age 67, there's all this other stuff here. We always want to clear data. Always, because you guys may have been messing around, practicing with this on your own time and another time. So just make sure you clear all your data, okay? So boom. Adrian, how old are you at the moment, brother?
Let's just say I'm 21.
Okay. Adrian's 21 years old, so let's put his age. Now, Adrian, do you smoke or chew tobacco?
No.
No? Okay, so we're going to mark no. Now, he's a male. Now, here's a couple cool things. Under product type, on your notes, I want you guys writing 2 things down. Where it says power term, this is going to be no blood work for your clients. They're going to do no blood work for this. But this next product type is going to say precision term. When we put this, we're going to have a phlebotomist go to their location, take some blood and urine. Okay? So those are going to be the 2 differences. But we always want to try to stick with power term. Now, this is the reason why. In power term, it's the best way to get them approved without having any complications. We want to make sure we have a good quality of business. So with Adrian, he's 21 years old. He told me he needs to have 600 grand in coverage, but of course he only gave us 600. 100 that he's comfortable with. So Adrian, I'm going to put 150,000 right here. We always check waiver premium. So no matter what, we don't even give our clients the option to click no on this. The reason why is because this waiver premium is going to allow your client to pull up to 70% of their life coverage while they're still living. Okay? So if you put waiver premium, they're going to be able to pull 70% of their life coverage while they're still living. If you don't mark yes and mark no, which please, whatever you do, don't do that, they're only going to be able to pull up to 40% of their life coverage while they're still living. Okay? Only 40%. So whatever you do, always mark yes. Now, if we continue going down, we're also going to be able to see where it says child rider. Now, Adrian, do you have any children?
Yeah, yes I do.
How many children do you have, if I may ask?
No, just one.
Just one? Okay. Now, Adrian, what we're going to be able to do is we're even going to be able to provide $25,000 in coverage for your child, right? Now, they don't need a lot of coverage, Adrian, because they're not bringing in income, right? It's just there to take care of funeral expenses. That's why we go with 25 grand. Okay? It's just to take care of funeral expenses. But here's the cool thing, guys. If your client, let's just say they didn't have one child, let's just say they had 5 and they wanted to cover their children. Well, what we're going to do is we're still going to put $25,000 and it's going to cover all their children. Now, is it going to be $14,000, $18,000 for each child? No. It's going to be $14,000, $18,000 and it's going to cover all children if they're ages 18 and below at the time of application. So if they have a child that's 22 years old, they are not going to be able to be put in the child rider. They need to be 18 or below. If they're above that, they need to get their own policy now. They're already old enough to get their own policy. Okay. Does anyone have any questions regarding how the product type works? How the waiver premium or the child rider works at the moment? Cool. So here's another thing. We see premium class here. Premium class is as follows. The system will default to the classes listed above. Okay. Primerica underwriting will automatically upgrade qualified applicants to the best class available, blank, blank, blank. Basically, what this is going to do is if your clients are more at risk, it changes the class. If they're more healthy, it changes the class. You don't mess with this. You leave it as it is. Don't touch it. The system will automatically do it for you. Okay? So you don't have to mess around with this. Okay? Where it says payment frequency, we don't change it. You leave it alone. And then finally, once you want to present the quote to the client, you're going to click the very bottom. The very bottom where it says quote details, where it can show it pretty easily. So now, when you summarize your quote to the client, okay, Mr. Client, Adrian, right here, what we're going to be able to do is provide you $150,000 in coverage for a 35-year term. Your monthly premium is going to be about $45.55. The cool thing about our policies, Adrian, is that price stays the same. It will not increase or decrease. It will stay the same throughout this next 35 years. Now, here's an additional thing. But Adrian, after every year, you're going to get a letter in the mail. This letter is going to tell you, Adrian, for a couple extra dollars, it will be about $3, $4. It will give you an additional $25,000 in coverage. So instead of you paying you paying $45.55 for $150,000 in coverage, you will pay $48 for $175,000 in coverage. If you don't want this to go up, just please sign that document that they mailed to you so it won't go up anymore. And you won't get any more letters going forward. Now, if you would like it to increase, Adrian, just don't reply to it. Let it go, and it will increase automatically that extra $2 to $3. Okay? Now, here's the cool thing. On your notes, your clients, if they continue to accept that increase, it will do it for 10 years. So they will continue getting that letter for a period of 10 years. So here's the cool thing. You know that document my mother always shows you guys, where our client had a terminal illness and we were able to give her a check for $294,000? She didn't have that much coverage at first. It was actually less. But every year she allowed it to increase steadily. So we were able to provide that client more. And I believe it even says it here. It's a 20-year term. Actually, it doesn't say it there, but it did increase. Okay. So that's a really good incentive. But the moment your client declines that, they won't get it going forward, and they won't have that option to increase it. Okay? So that's a cool thing there. Does anyone have any questions regarding that? Because I know that's new material. A lot of clients are unaware of that. Does that make sense, guys? Cool.
I have a
Term
question.
for it again?
Yes, Dory, go ahead. I'll go for Dory first and then Francis.
So, just thinking about giving someone a quote and all that good stuff, and then
Yes,
when you
ma'am.
go into the letter that you just pulled up that showed someone who was able to, get 70% because they had a terminal illness. If someone asks, like, how long do you have to have a policy in order to receive that? What would we say?
Oh, that's a really good question. Now, firstly, I'm going to answer this terminal illness rider,
Mm-hmm.
that document that we present. We don't ever really present this toward them. I'm simply presenting this so you guys are aware of what could possibly happen. We always present this. Well, my mother normally presents this after this first slide. So if it's going to be a life insurance policy presentation, like we know we're going to go for that, she will present it during that presentation to explain it. But the moment they get a terminal illness, they will be able to pull. But you have to be careful because let's just say clients are trying to play the system. They found out they had a terminal illness prior to applying the application. And for whatever reason, they got approved, but I'm very sure that's not going to happen because our company would see it on the background. It won't pay out, right? If they had it prior to the application, if it gets approved for whatever reason. Meaning, let's just say they lied on the policy. Like when you're filling out the application saying, do they have a terminal illness? And they say no. But in reality, they did, and they knew about it. It won't pay out that way because they lied on the policy. It was misrepresentation.
Gotcha.
Right? Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. And I heard Francis as well. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I just needed clarification on
Yes.
what it's called when it increases by the year. I forgot the actual.
That's a great question. I always forget too. I believe it's AIR, automatic increasing rider. I believe
IVR?
IBR, increasing benefit rider. Is that
Yes,
what it is?
that's it. Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
There you go.
Yep. And that's
There you
only
go.
the
That's a good
first
question.
10 years. You
Yes.
said that, right? The first 10 years.
Yes, first 10 years.
Guys, that's super awesome. Oh, one thing I want to tell you guys, because obviously we tell the clients, your payment stays the same for the whole term, right? Always try to remember, and sometimes it slips and we don't, but tell them, in 10 months you're going to get a notification saying, hey, do you want, I think it's 30% more coverage for a few more dollars. If you don't, then you don't have to take it, Mr. Client. But if you do, it's a good thing. They do it because of inflation. Okay, we know that everything goes up, but it's a good benefit. I had mine, guys, when I initially got my life insurance policy. I think I got it for like $5 something. You good girl? Yeah, like $5 something or so. I have a little over $1 million right now, and it stopped because I've already had it 10 years now. So that's where it's locked in. So it's worth it because it's only like a few dollars and you don't have to get lab work. If someone comes and gets another extra 200 or 300 past 300, you have to get lab work done and check your medical history. So that's automatic. Oh, also, when he was talking about the terminal illness, guys, if a person gets a terminal illness and that client, the letter, she had only been our client for 2 years. So sometimes people do get terminal illnesses and they do get medications and other types of, to get better, and they still live. Okay, so keep in mind, that's a good one because if a client now has a terminal illness, they can't come back and say, I want more coverage. But for the next 10 years, if they allow that, it will go up every year. Right? So that's important for you guys to know that. Okay, I'm giving it right back to Adam.
And those are great points. Now, basically, here's a couple things. For individuals that are in their 20s, we typically give a couple different quotes depending on where they're at. If you notice, I went for $150,000 in coverage. The next one I would go for will be $300,000 in coverage. The reason why I go at $300,000 is because this is the max you can go without doing blood work. Because now, if I put $350,000, you're going to notice that the system tells you something. It says total coverage cannot exceed $300,000 for power term, which is no blood work. So whenever your clients need more, you have to move it over to blood work, precision term. Okay. And we have to be very adamant. We have to be very transparent. Mr. Client, if I put precision term where you do blood work and urine, will you be able to do it? Will you be able to do it in the next couple of days? Go ahead, Mom.
So we're going to add something to this, okay? Because I think we've been too nice. And what I mean by that, guys, is this is your business. We want to protect all of you guys' business. We want to protect it, okay? When we write up a policy, we let individuals know, hey, is this a payment you're able to pay for the next 18 months? Are you comfortable with it? Because I'd rather go lower than higher, and they're like biting my tongues, my nails if I'm going to be able to pay my payment, right? So, for those of you that are new, when you go to school, right, you get a grade, you get a letter A, B, C, D, whatever on your test, right? Well, here they monitor our business. If we were just to write a bunch of business and it's constantly closing, that's bad business. That means I'm not doing my job properly. So, going forward, okay, if someone does want more than $300,000 of coverage, let's say they want $600,000 or whatever, we're gonna first get them approved with no lab work going forward, okay? Because I just had a situation where they promised me they would get their lab work done, and it was insufficient funds, number one, and then that situation. Okay, so I don't want to do that going forward just because I want you guys to have good business. What I'm going to say is, look, Mr. Adam, let's get you approved for the $300,000 first. If you get approved, we will put through the application adding more coverage to that. Okay, this is to safeguard your business, guys, because when you get a lot of policies being closed, right, eventually they can lower your contract. They can
cancel.
tell us
Cancel.
yeah, they if we're closing too much business is being closed, that means we're not doing our job. So we're going to help you guys. If you see something, we're going to be there to guard your business so that doesn't happen. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's one way to protect your business too, because clients promise you all the time. Promises are broken. People break promises all the time. Okay, so all right, so max coverage 300,000, but ideally he needs 600. Okay, but remember, we have to understand his budget. He said $100 a month. So if you notice, if we went with 300 grand in coverage, it's going to take up the majority of his budget. So we're going to ask Mr. Client, okay, Mr. Client, what do you value more? Having 150,000 in coverage? Oh, thanks, man. What do you value more? Having 150,000 in coverage for the next 35 years? It'll come out to $45.55. That gives you about $55 in room to set aside in your Roth IRA. Or Mr. Client, do you value having a little bit more coverage, 300,000 in coverage? It's going to cost about $70 per month, and you're able to set aside $30 into your Roth IRA. What would be best for you, Mr. Client? And let them choose. At the end of the day, it's not what you want, it's what they want. Okay? So we got that going. But here's the cool thing that I really want to show you guys. Let's just say our client went with the 300,000. This is what I mean by buy term invest the difference. 35-year term, 300,000. What happens if our client outlives that 35 years? Okay, so remember, cost $70.60 for 300,000. But if I go back to my calculator on the compound interest calculator, let me share. So let's just say we stuck with that $100 a month plan. He's been setting aside $30 a month into his Roth IRA. And it's very rare clients ever stay with $30, but let's just say he did that. Duration 35 years. Boom. So he has $300,000 in coverage, 35-year term. If he were to outlive this policy, he would rely on his investments, but it'll only have $113,000 in there. We're which is still a decent amount, but it's only because he's setting aside $30 a month. Eventually, he's going to be more comfortable to set aside more. Let's just say he sets aside 100. He outlives that policy of 300,000. He set aside $100 a month to the Roth IRA. He just self-insured himself. He has a little over 379,000 in investments. This is what we preach. You don't need life insurance your whole life. You only need it while you have dependents, while you have kids, while you haven't paid off your mortgage. But once all that's done, your investments are going to take care of you. Okay? Does anyone have any question or concerns regarding some of the things that we touched on at the moment?
I do. I have one.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I didn't ask earlier, actually. What is the
Yes.
initial amount exactly?
Great amount. Let's just say you have a client. Like, you know what, Adam? I really like what you showed me. What would it look like if I just set aside $7,000 right now? What would it look like? That's where you just put it in.
Got you. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, I
And
understand.
I have clients that are like that at times. You guys just have to understand that you guys aren't securities licensed reps. So you guys can't talk about specific investments, but you can talk about general information. You can talk about the compound interest calculator, but you can't talk about specific investments. Now, I want to address the reason why we come up with 10%. Okay? If you look at an example of a mutual fund, this is an example. I understand there's a lot of numbers, but there's only like 3 things you really need to look at. The first thing is, what's the name? This is called a Clear Bridge Appreciation Fund. This is with an investment company called Franklin Templeton. The first thing we take a look at is how long it's been around for. You zoom in where it says inception date. It says 03/10/1970. You double my age. It's been around longer than me. It's been averaging 10.53% since 1970. That's why we came up with that number, because our portfolios have been averaging that since 1970. You're investing to a total of 71 companies. Top 10 companies being Microsoft, Apple, Berkshire Hathaway, Amazon, Google, NVIDIA. Just to name a few. This is just an example, right? But I want you guys to understand why we came up with that number. So let's summarize this, because I know we went over a lot of information today. When we sit down with a client and we understand that we're going to be going for a life insurance policy, we do our normal presentation. And you guys are going to be learning about this as a whole nother team training. From plan A versus plan B, once we're done doing the slide, we transition to the compound interest calculator. And all we do is we read the script word for word. That's literally all we do. For a very long time. I've been in this business for just shy of 5 years now. It took me a while to get very comfortable and confident transition from the presentation to the appointment. I know how a lot of you guys feel. But I'm so glad my mother came up with the script, because the moment she did, all my nerves when it comes to transition to the pro and doing things properly went away. Because I didn't have to think about what to say. I just had to read it word for word. It makes your life easier. Okay. So, all right, we're wrapping it up. Does anyone have any questions when it comes to transitioning from the compound interest calculator, how the compound interest calculator works, how this script works, how you run quotes? Let's open up for questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you please repeat how to transition from the plan A versus plan B side to the compound calculator again?
Yes, sir. So let's go from here. So you're going to say your family keeps all your savings if you happen to pass away. Mr. Klein, if you had to choose between plan A versus plan B, which one would you choose? They say plan B. Okay, Mr. Klein. So what I would like to do is I want to show you how our compound interest calculator works. You transition now. So that's when you start messing around with your phone, put in the numbers, and take a screenshot of it. Take a screenshot and send it to him in text. Or you can do what my mother does. Let me just go back. I'm going back and forth from my phone.
Lately, you guys have been having issues with this. I give a screenshot, and what I do is I just I log on my phone and show my screen on the Zoom, just so you guys know.
Yeah. Yeah, so whenever you have issues doing that, you can share it on the screen, or you can just send it like this.
So is sending and then either putting like screen sharing either or like an option that we can choose from, or which one
Yeah,
would
so
be more
you
preferable?
can. So my mother really enjoys sharing it from here. So if you see it like at the middle where I'm moving it back and forth, see the right hand side share. You can click it. Oh, there you go. I understand what my mother says.
No,
Right
it's been
now,
doing
it's
that
not.
recently.
It's not able to do it now. Yeah. So unable to connect to server. So what I do, I literally take a screenshot. I screenshot it and I text it to them. Or you can share your screen like I am right now on Zoom to do so. It's up to you. Whatever's more convenient for you. I personally like having a screenshot in their text message thread so they can always go back to it. Okay? Because they're going to tell you, oh, they forgot, or can you ask me about it again? It's in the thread. Okay. And then, Adrian, to continue, you talk about the compound interest calculator, and then afterwards you just read the script word for word.
Got it. Thank you so much.
No problem. So I would encourage you guys, whenever you have spare time, treat this like a homework assignment. I always use this analogy. Some of you guys are going to learn. I played baseball my whole entire life. That's what I did, right? In baseball, they get a rubber tee. They put a baseball on the tee. That baseball does not move at all. And even professionals, Major League Baseball players, they live off of that tee. All they do is they take their bat and they practice and get their reps in over and over and over. And that's how you need to treat these fundamentals. Get your reps in. When you're at home, you have nothing to do. You know what? I'm going to bring up my presentation I just downloaded. I'm going to bring up the script, and I'm going to practice transitioning. Your goal is to practice at home in the dark. You're not trying to practice on clients. That's game time. Go ahead, Eva.
I just wanted to say, so when you've shown them the investment option and they tell you, well, you know what, I have a 401k, am I able to transfer it over to the investments with a broker here? And what do we say?
That's a great question. What I'm going to... Hold on.
And then that's just one question. And then what if someone says like, hey, I have $100,000. I don't know what to do with it. I'm kind of trying to figure out, I don't know anything about investments. Can you help me with it?
That's a great question. So what your response is going to be is, okay, Mr. Client, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a Zoom where our investment license representative, so he can make sure he goes over all that for you. Because you guys aren't licensed to be able to talk about it, right? So all you have to do is say, you know what? Let's set up an investment appointment with our investment representative, so we can make sure we address all your question concerns and put you in the best place possible. And there you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
And a great way to just let me know, and this is what like the Texas team does a lot. What they do is they send me a text saying, hey Adam, I have a client, Adrian. He is 21 years old. Well, actually, let's do a different one because we have Amelia. She's 40 years old. She has $100,000 in her 401k. She doesn't know what to do with it. Here's her number. Give her a call. She knows you're expecting it. And the moment I get a phone call, or send it to Noah, the moment we get a phone call, we'll call them and book that appointment. And then we'll address and go into detail regarding all their question concerns. Yep.
Thank you.
No problem. It's a good question. It's a really good one. Yeah. Your guys' goal, because I know sometimes you want to take on more responsibility and maybe you're excited about investments. You want to start talking about it. Just legally, you can't until you're licensed. Just look at it that way. So the only things you guys can talk about is general things like the compound interest calculator. Yeah.
One general thing though, son, is just for knowledge purposes for you guys to know. When someone has a 401k at a job, they cannot move it unless they leave the job. Okay? They can't move the 401k unless they're no longer there. They could transfer it over to, no one out of IRA or whatever. But if they're still working there, they cannot touch it. Just so you guys know.
Yeah, but once again, that's more in detailed
Unless,
information
yeah,
that
don't go.
I wouldn't
just
suggest
knowledge.
suggesting.
Yeah. This is just knowledge for you guys.
Yeah, so keep it simple. Don't go into it. Just say, I'll set up an appointment with my securities license representative or my investment broker, whatever you want to use. Does anyone have any other question or concerns regarding how to close at the moment? Oh, cool. I'm glad we're all set.
Did you guys learn a lot today?
Yes, I was just going to say thank you. That was really good.
Yeah, no problem.
Man, everybody's going to go close. Let's do this. Come on. Great job, guys, and everyone new that logged on. Great job on the training, Adam. And
So,
guys, you guys know your numbers already, right?
Yeah,
Do
final reminder, we have Super Saturday coming up this Saturday. If you're around the Los Angeles area, please make it out. You're going to be seeing a lot of successful people there. Okay, so make sure you attend there. You're going to see the vision. You're going to be around a lot of people that are successful in this business. Your guys' goal is to learn a lot. So if you're around the Los Angeles area, shoot us a text, shoot us a call so we can provide you that information so we can help you get there.
We'll reach out to them, Adam, because we do have Dory's here in LA. So is Miss Denise. So is Chris. So we'll chat and see what we can make that happen. So yeah, we'll reach out to you guys.
Alrighty, guys.
Okay.
Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night, an even better week. Continue to work hard, stay disciplined. If you guys have questions, concerns, who do you go to? Your upline. If your upline doesn't have the answer, you continue going up to your RVPs. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be able to address your answers and concerns. Have a great night, guys.
You too.
Good night. Bye, everyone.